Hey everybody, my name is Nathan Schloss. I'm a software engineering manager at Meta, and I'm also the chair of the Supporters of Chromium-Based Browser Steering Committee. We'll get to what that is in a second. So just a quick agenda for what I'll cover today. We'll go over a little bit of background about Supporters of Chromium-Based Browsers, how it kind of came to be, the process of spinning it up. We'll talk a little bit about the setup, go over the members, talk about the our current project, and then we'll talk a little bit about ways to get involved and how everybody here can ideally have an impact on supporters of Chromium-based browsers. So to go into the background, there's a lot of Chromium-based browsers out there, as we all know, right? There's the kind of more full standalone browser use cases, Edge, Chrome, Opera, Samsung Internet, MetaQuest browser, and there's also some of these more embedded, again, browsing use cases, like the Instagram in-app browser, TikTok in-app browser, things like that. And there's also a bunch of use cases that maybe don't look like a browser, but use Chromium just the same. Like the Burger King app, for example, uses Chromium in a bunch of places. Uber, JetBlue, Slack. There's a lot of like use cases of Chromium that maybe don't even look like a browser, but are actually leveraging the full Chromium code base. So all this to say, there's a lot of like really impactful technologies that are powered by Chromium. However, as everybody here also knows, most Chromium contributions come from Google. This is it's a well-known no problem. Google really funds a lot of Chromium, but it benefits kind of everybody in this this larger ecosystem. And there's lots of other companies contribute. Meta does, Igalia, Opera, Microsoft. Everybody's making like a substantial amount of Chromium contributions, but it does not compare to the amount that Google's contributing. And so it can be hard for other companies outside of Google to make substantial Chromium contributions. Non-Google browser teams are often a lot smaller than the Chrome team. The planning cycles aren't necessarily going to align with Chrome. It can be unclear for a team just starting out how to have an impact inside of Chromium. There's different org priorities. It may be hard to justify substantial investments inside of Chromium when you're really focused on shipping a specific product. And overall, it can be challenging for kind of individual small teams to make a substantial impact inside of Chromium. And so at BlinkOn 18, Shruti gave a talk about brainstorming potential solutions to having companies be able to make more contributions to Chromium and really maybe pool their resources and increase the number of external contributions. One of the solutions that was suggested was starting an open collective fund, basically allowing a few different companies to pull their resources together, maybe collectively make a more substantial contribution towards Chromium overall. So you can see after that BlinkOn, she sent an email out to BlinkDev that basically summarized the talk and then called for external participation and asked for people or different companies to step up and see who wants to get involved. And very exciting, at the next BlinkOn 19, you can see that there are 4 companies that were all ready to kind of publicly state that they were interested in this effort. And so we had Microsoft, Meta, Opera, and Google all kind of stepped up and said, hey, we want to be able to support this and make a more substantial contribution. And so here we are today. We've set up the organization. We actually have what is now called Supporters of Chromium-Based Browsers organization to make these contributions to Chromium. So the setup of the organization, it's hosted by the Linux Foundation, and then there's multiple levels of membership within Supporters of Chromium-based browsers. There's the general membership, premier membership, associate memberships, and supporter program. So kind of going into the setup, general members will be able to get 2 or 3 steering committee seats based on the level of contribution to the organization. Level of contribution here just means money, like how much they're funding the organization. There's no guaranteed board seats for general members, but for every 5 general members, there's kind of 1 board seat that gets created, and then it gets elected among the general members with a minimum of 1. So there will be at least 1 kind of general member representative on the board. And then premier members get 3 steering committee seats, and then they get 1 or 2 board seats, again, based on the level of contribution. And then kind of getting into some of the other tiers of membership, there's a supporter program, which actually allows non-members to contribute to supporters of Chromium-based browsers as well. So individuals, organizations that maybe aren't able to contribute as much are able to contribute to the supporters program. Again, it may allow for a steering committee seat based on level of contribution, but in general, it's a way to get involved without necessarily as big of a commitment. And then there's associate membership, which is limited to associate members of the Linux Foundation. So nonprofits, NGOs, things like that are able to participate in a more limited capacity as part of their Linux Foundation associate membership. So describing kind of what these groups are, the steering committee kind of votes and oversees day-to-day operations of the supporters of Chromium-based browsers. It kind of drives technical direction and decides basically what projects supporters of Chromium-based browser will work on, like where a lot of these funds will go, who's going to work on what. Then the board controls the budget. It releases funds and kind of votes on, like if the steering committee asks for funding for a specific project, the board will vote and decide whether to fund the project or not. So the board kind of controls the actual full budget, and the steering committee basically sets the direction and makes decisions on how things will be invested in. So the current members today match the members that committed at BlinkOn 19. So we have Opera, Microsoft, Meta, and Google. It'd be great to increase the amount of members. So we'll see. I'll cover this a little bit at the end, but it would be really awesome for any company here who is not currently a member of SOCBB. It'd be awesome for you to join. Like I just went over, there's a lot of different levels of membership. So even with a smaller contribution, there's lots of ways to get involved. So SOCBB in general is going to fund different projects that contribute to Chromium. They're all going to look a little bit different, but in general, the idea is we've kind of pulled all these funds together to fund kind of external contributions towards Chromium. They're going to come from outside of the 4-member companies, but ideally still have a very large major impact on Chromium. So our starting project is this bug bounty program. The idea is we want to encourage fixes on user-facing or developer-facing bugs. We essentially have 3 different hot lists that list out 3 categories of bugs: small, medium, large. The bounty for a large bug can be up to $10,000. For medium bugs, it can be $1,000, and for small, it's $250. There's a bunch of terms and a full process for contributing fixes towards this program, but it's all available on the SOCBB GitHub. Let's see. And so, as I mentioned, bug bounty is just a starting project point. We really want to have to be able to fund lots of impactful projects that improve Chromium-based browsers and all the kind of browsers and experiences that are based on it. And so, with that, you can find us. We have a bunch of SOCBB stickers. So everybody this is the list of everybody who's at BlinkOn, who is either on the SOCBB steering committee or board. Can everybody stand up if you're so you can find any of these people. We all have SOCBB stickers to give out, so please see us for a sticker. And then we would love for everybody here to participate. So if your company's not a member of the SOCBB, please, you can visit the Linux Foundation website. There's a button you can click to learn more about how to join. You can reach out to me, reach out to kind of any of the SOCBB members. We'd really love to have your company participate and kind of get more participation in the SOCBB, and then help us come up with impactful project ideas. So originally the planning session was going to be in this room, but it's moved now to Rugrats. So kind of immediately after this, when the next kind of round of sessions is over, please go to Rugrats to kind of help us brainstorm more impactful projects for the SOCBB to start funding. We really want to have a major impact, and we want to kind of carve out some good areas that we can contribute to as this organization. So yeah, so that's it. If there's any questions, happy to answer it.
Vice Shopify. In terms of projects, what do y'all have in mind beyond just a bug bounty list?
Yeah, so really any project that will improve kind of Chromium-based browsers. So general examples of things we're thinking about, like improving web page tests, improving things in accessibility, various things in testing. So really just kind of any area that will have an impact on users or developers or kind of the browser developers as well. But ideally, projects that kind of improve stuff for Chromium overall.
I was curious, how are the bugs, like what areas, how do you decide which areas of bugs to invest in, and how do you decide which one's a small versus medium versus large?
Yeah, so for kind of deciding, it's based on estimated eng effort, and these are somewhat guesses. Like the final kind of categorization may change based on the kind of final like amount of effort required to fix the bug. But in general, we want to fix like user-facing or web developer-facing bugs. Is kind of what we decided to do. And as part of the brainstorm session, actually, we have a call for kind of bug submissions as well. So we're definitely looking for more bug submissions to participate in this program.
Sharon, Google. So for the people who are fixing the bugs, is the target audience just random external people or people from companies who have an interest in contributing to this but maybe don't have the headcount, or this who the target audience for who is fixing these is?
Yeah, so for the bug bounty program specifically, you can't be an employee of any of the member companies. So the idea is we want external contributors. It is possible for in general, it's set up through GitHub sponsorships. So you have to have typically an individual GitHub account. But if an external company has like a GitHub account for the company, they can also go through the program. So the main requirement is you can't be part of the core members. And the goal is to grow kind of external contributions to Chromium as part of this. All right. Thank you.